What is going on, Internet? This is JD coming at you another video from Redskins Friend. Hail to the Redskins. Before I get started on this video, like, share, and subscribe. This is a follow-up video to what I posted on Monday. Monday, I posted a video in response to Jay Gruden getting fired. Okay, so I want to go over some things. I have a little bit of the press conference I want to go over when it comes to some things that were said. I'm going to say some things pretty clear. There are two types of delusions that we have within our franchise entirety. One is the delusion of the owner / GM, which I'm going to get to. The second delusion is the delusion of the fan base. The way it sounded the entire season leading up to this moment is that all we have to do is fire Jay Gruden and we're going to win the Super Bowl. That's the way it sounded. And people don't understand that the fish rots from the head down. Until Dan Snyder sells this team, it's going to be very, very difficult for us to sustain any level of success. He has owned this team for 20 years now. He's only had one coach that had a winning record, so to speak, and that was Marty Schottenheimer, and they fired him because Marty Schottenheimer did things his way and not Dan's way. Joe Gibbs, who's our legend coach, he came back and he went 30-32, so he had a losing record. And Shanahan had a crap record. Zorn had a crap record. No coach on this has had a good record. And Jay Gruden had a decent record. So it doesn't really matter who our coach is. It doesn't matter. Everyone's thinking that just because we got rid of Gruden, that all of our problems are solved. No, the problems are just beginning now. Because now we have to rely on the idiots up top to find a new coach. And I keep hearing a lot about... I'll get into that later. There's two delusions I want to talk about. Delusion of the ownership / front office, and delusions of the fan base. The first one I'm going to talk about is delusions of the front office. There's an interview or a press conference that Bruceless Allen, Useless Bruce, did this Monday that I did not hear until after I did my video. Now that I've heard it, I want to comment on it. He said some stuff that is pretty damning. He insulted the fans. He insulted a lot of our intelligence. He basically didn't hold himself accountable for anything. I'm going to let that play right now, and I'm going to play a part of it, and I'll stop in the middle. He has a huge misconception of what the real issues are with the Washington Redskins.
No dialogue with any other team.
Would you consider trading him? Just as a follow-up, would you consider trading him?
No, not at this time.
So, hold on. That is in response... That right there, that sentence is in response to trading Trent Williams. Why wouldn't he trade Trent Williams? If we were 5-0 right now and we were heading for the playoffs and, it looks like we're going to run away for the division and, we have a chance to win the Super Bowl, yeah, you would hold out hope that Trent Williams eventually comes back. You would hold out that hope. But we're pretty much tanking for the future. We're pretty much going to need to get assets, going to get draft picks to build for the next head coach we're going to sign. Why wouldn't you trade Trent Williams? So what? The new coach that comes in is going to come into a pissed off veteran who had to spend a whole year not playing because he wouldn't get traded, and that's what you're going to come into? I mean, you're just... God, the seeds of dissension in this franchise are just amazing. But this is the bulk of what I wanted to go over.
Bruce, there's a lot of talk about the culture surrounding this football team, and obviously with a decade, 2 decades without much playoff success, without much on-field success, how would you describe the culture surrounding this football team?
The culture is actually damn good. These people care. We have a very young core of players that we have brought in here who are accustomed to winning. If you look at the record of these guys, they're accustomed to winning. They want to win. In free agency, we brought Landon Collins. A great leader, great player, wants to win.
Okay, so here's what the delusion of our GM, and I'm pretty sure that's the delusion of the owner too, those are both joined at the hip, is there's a difference between culture and character. We may have brought in good character guys. You can have as much character guys as you want. If you have a bad culture, it's going to it doesn't matter how good your character is, it's going to ruin it. Okay? The culture of the Washington Redskins is a non-winning culture. The owner gets involved when he shouldn't, so he circumvents the authority of the coach, so the coach has no authority, so it undermines his ability to actually coach and be a leader of men. That is the culture that the Redskins have. There's not a winning culture, okay? Do you have good character guys? Abso-fucking-lutely. Dwayne Allen, good character, or Dron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Matt Ioannidis. There's a lot, Ryan Kerrigan. There's a lot of good character guys on the defense. Landon Collins is a good character. Now he says winning culture. Landon Collins didn't come from winning culture. Just throwing that out there. He played for the Giants. Okay, Giants were not a winning culture. He's not winning anything with the Giants. Okay, but Jonathan Allen, a bunch of these guys were won in college. So he's not wrong when he says that. He's not wrong at all. However, he is 100% wrong when he doesn't understand the difference between character and culture. You can have good character guys, but if you have a shitty culture, it doesn't matter how great your character is. All that means is they're not going to go to the media and say something because they're good character. They're gonna just focus on doing their job. But the culture you're building is those guys are going to do their job, but the rest of the team's not. When you have a good culture, those guys will go to the media and say how great things are when things are great, and when things are bad, they'll say when things are bad, and the team will react to it. And it's not a thing where they're like, well, we're going to cut a whole bunch of players that say that. A good culture, the good players are good, the bad players are good, and everyone's marched up on the same beat. There is not a good culture in Washington, D.C. There is not a good culture with this team. He is blurring what it means to have culture versus character. There are good character guys. There are good quality football players on this team. Not going to argue that point. But there are there's a bad culture, and it starts from him, and it starts from the ownership. Okay? Let's just look at the culture. Let's just look at the culture when it came to the coach. The type of culture the coach had to live in. The coach of the Washington Redskins could not draft his team, could not give suggestions on players he wanted to sign. He had players that could circumvent him, go to the owner because the owner has a relationship with the players when he should be just a business relationship. That's the culture that was set up. So it automatically undermines any kind of authority figure. That culture is going to prevent us from getting a good coach. Unless Dan Snyder's playbook is wide open. That is culture. We can hide a character guy. We can go sign. Everyone's talking about Mike Tomlin. I don't want Mike Tomlin personally. I'll explain why here in a couple minutes. Let's say we get Mike Tomlin. He is a good character guy. There is nothing about him that is like a bad person. He's a good character person. But he is not going to be able to create a culture because he is not going to be able to implement discipline. Because if you discipline a guy and he goes to the owner and the owner says, hey, you can't discipline this guy, now he is undermined by the owner. It's the same thing if he goes to the GM. That is the problem. That is the culture of the Washington Redskins. That is a toxic culture. And that is what this dumbass, Bruce Allen, useless Bruce, does not understand. Is culture is different than character. You can have a good character. You can have bad character. But if you're in a good culture, this is why let's just I'm going to throw a perfect example out here. The Patriots have the best culture for winning football. Because they focus on the job. You focus on being able to be coachable and being corrected. It doesn't matter what your character is. They hire bad character guys all the time. Antonio Brown did not get cut from the Patriots because he was bad character in their locker room. He got cut because of off-field issues. But he went to there and assimilated to their culture. Randy Moss did the same thing. Other players who have had issues, Josh Gordon has done the same thing. Players who have had off-the-field character issues go to that team with a good culture and have no issue. There are teams with bad cultures who get good players, and then they turn into bad. Then it poisons them. Okay, Washington Redskins. I'm not going to sit here and say that RG3 was a player who would have been the savior of our franchise. RG3 was good character. We had a bad culture in place. He got poisoned by it. Plain and simple. Kirk Cousins, I don't like him, but because we have a toxic culture, he didn't want to be here. He felt forced to be here. He did his job, but then he left. Now, I'm personally not a big fan of Kirk. I can go on all day about how bad he sucked. I can go next level analytics to show how horrible a quarterback he is. I'm not going to do that. But because of the culture we have, guys who are good character, and I don't think Kurt's a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's a bad person. But because we have a bad culture, he's not going to want to be in it. Anyone who has great character is not going to want to thrive in that. Not going to want to be a part of that. I think Landon Collins has always wanted to play for the Washington Redskins, so that's why he came here. He didn't come here because we're winning. He didn't come here because of the culture. He came here because of the name, and Sean Taylor used to play here. That's why he's here. That's 100% what it is. Okay? That is the delusion of the owner/GM that we have right now. The culture that we have is the owner doesn't let the coach coach. The coach can't draft who he wants. The coach can't go out and say, I want this free agency. Please make it happen. The owner or the coach has to go out after the owner and the GM decide to fire Scott McCloughan and then sign Reuben Foster, which has nothing to do with the head coach. That's all the GM's choices, and he has to go out and answer to all that crap. That's how bad the culture is. There's no accountability when it comes to the higher ups. They push the blame down to the coaches. The coaches are like, why am I getting blamed for this? I didn't do any of this crap. I'm just trying to coach football. And I would coach football better if you would let me actually coach football rather than being an obstacle, rather than, you're a hindrance rather than a helper. You're not a catalyst for success. You're more of just an interference with success, more or less. It just bothers me so much, the culture that we have in the Washington Redskins. And this motherfucker thinks is blurring character with culture. You can get, like I said, you can get all the good character guys you want. If you have a bad culture, it's just not going to work. Okay, and I gave a good example, so I'm going to move on from that. So that's what Bruce Allen said. Bruce Allen, he needs fired. He needs fired today. This will have hashtag Bruce Allen, useless Bruce, whatever you want to call it, useless Bruceless, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have that in every video from this moment on. This motherfucker needs fired. The words that uttered out of his mouth are just damning to me. He needs to just be gone. And if that's really how he thinks, he's delusional. He is beyond delusional, and it doesn't matter who our coach is. No good coach can come to that crap. That what he is utter. No coach can come to that. And I'm pretty sure him and the owner are lockstep in their opinions. So I'm gonna put something back real quick. They're lockstep in their opinions right now. So let me fix that. There we go. That's better. Okay. Sorry, the light is coming down from this way, so it's making a shadow on my face. Actually, I do like it better that way. Okay, I'm good. It's whatever. Okay, so Callahan. Callahan came out and said one thing. He wants to run the ball more. Great. How are you going to do that? We'll see. We're going to do downhill running. We're going to be able to block all season. And you're the guy responsible for training an offensive lineman. An offensive lineman hold every play. Every time, I don't like Adrian Peterson. Every time he gets positive yards, though, there's always a negative. There's a holding call. And it puts it behind the sticks every time. And that's been happening the last few games. The Eagles game, it happened a little bit less. That's the only reason we were winning that game at any point. And the first half of this game, or the last game, we did okay at it, but then we just had like a whole series where we had like 6 straight penalties. We can't stop holding. We can't stop doing penalties. And I'm going to talk about this. I mean, I already talked about it a little bit. The officiating has been horrible. I'm not going to get on that. Never mind. I'm not going to get on that tangent. I go off all day on how bad the officiating has been, period. Not just towards the Redskins, but period. So, back to the conversation I'm having right now. Bill Callahan wants to start running the ball more. Great. He also said he's not going to start Haskins. Okay, it doesn't make sense to me why the head coach why the owner and GM would fire the head coach.
We haven't put it together.
Would fire the head coach who's not playing the guy you wanted to draft. Okay? And then you put in another coach who's also not playing the guy you wanted to draft. We're in 5. We're not going to make the playoffs. Look for the future. Now, I don't disagree with Callahan's assessment of how he wants to integrate Haskins. I do agree with this. So I'm going to retract my statement from Monday. I said we should start Haskins right away. I agree with how they're handling this. What he wants to do, he's going to put a package in that Haskins can handle, and he wants to get him acclimated to that package this week and next week. Okay? And the reason why you do that, Jay Gruden wouldn't play anyone unless he knew the entire playbook. He wouldn't play quarterback unless he knew the entire playbook. Okay? And honestly, and this is actually kind of damning to Haskins. If the Jay Gruden wouldn't play you, and there's rumors that Jay Gruden didn't play him because he didn't like him. Okay? Now that may be true. Maybe he didn't like him, but maybe he just wasn't his guy he wanted to draft. Okay? That might be the fact of the matter. But another coach comes in who's seen him in practice, seen everything, and all the coaches pretty much just are in lockstep and saying, like, hey, Haskins isn't ready to start. It's pretty alarming. And then a lot of fans out there who think they know better than the coaches, it's pretty alarming that a lot of fans, that all the coaches who are professionals who are there every day look at this kid and like, this kid's not ready. He's not ready to play. He's not ready to be a starter in the NFL. He doesn't read coverages. He can barely read off a play in a huddle. He can't read defenses under snap. He can't take snaps on the huddle. What it sounds like they're going to do is they're going to put an offensive package in that he has 2 weeks to get acclimated to. It's not going to be too much. It's going to be something basic. He'll basically be limited. I say play him now and just limit him. Listen. If it's 3rd and 9, run the ball and punt and just rely on your defense. We might lose. It's okay. It's part of the game. We're going to lose anyway. We're not going to win 11 of our last 11 games or 10 of our last 11 games and make the playoffs. If we did, that'd be great, but we're not going to. Okay? Let's accept reality. Look to the future, and I can get into what we can do future-wise that this dumbass isn't going to do. But Callahan basically said we're going to have a package put in. We've got 2 weeks to get acclimated. We'll give him more reps in practice to make sure he gets ready. That way we don't throw him out there and he looks bad. I get that. That is not a horrible way to handle it. I do understand that, and I agree with that. Let's just understand that these are experts who are around Haskins all the time, and they're saying he's not ready. Let's take them at their word. They know a little bit more about the situation than we do. They're there every day. Okay? So let's just understand that. I personally think you should just play Haskins. I do think that. However, I understand where Bill Callahan's coming from. If he knows that Haskins isn't ready, and he knows if you throw them out there, first off, our offensive line sucks. Okay, there's so many things that can happen. Okay? Good. What's the good things? One, he gets experience. Great. He does get experience. Okay, I'm not gonna argue that. He'll get experience, and he'll understand. Like he'll start getting acclimated to the speed of the NFL quicker. Okay, that's a good thing. 2, he might actually do well, and he'll get some touchdowns. He'll get some momentum. The fan base will be excited. 3. He might get a win or 2. He'll get the first win. He'll start He'll start a winning record thing under his belt, whatever the case may be. So let's say he does start, and we have 6 of our last 11. He's 6-5 as a starter. He's a winner as a starter. Okay, that's a positive. Okay, here's negative. Let's say he does bad. Okay, now we got to worry about his confidence. 2. Let's say he gets sacked a lot. Now he's got to worry. Now he might get punch drunk because he gets hit so much. Okay, because our offensive line's not great. 3, let's say he turns the ball over a lot. Okay? 4, let's say he gets hurt. That's also another possibility. That's not a possibility people aren't thinking of. We have had quarterbacks getting hurt. We have Alex Smith broke his leg because we didn't block for him. Colt McCoy broke his leg because he wasn't getting blocked for. Sanchez didn't break his leg or anything. He just got cut because he sucked. And then this year, Case Keenum hurt his ankle. So we have 4 quarterbacks in the last 4. Yeah, 4 quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks in the last, basically last season. If you're going by the week that Alex Smith got hit, it's been within the last year. 3 quarterbacks in the last year have gotten hurt behind this offensive line, which hasn't changed too much. I mean, it's gotten better. I'm really impressed with Eric Flowers. I really am. I will say signing him to an extension is not out of the realms of possibility. I think he's been one of our best linemen this year, to be honest. I think he's in a position where he doesn't have to move laterally, which is his issue. He's actually just able to stand his ground, and he's pretty good at that, and he's not bad at blocking forward. It's just not doing bad. I'm just going to give him credit on that. There's not a video about giving credit to anyone, but I will give him credit on that. And he got a lot of crap from the Giants media and from our team and our fans themselves. He got a lot of crap for that. So I got to give the guy credit where credit's due. But let's say Haskins is out there and he gets injured. Now we don't know what we're doing. Let's say we have 2 weeks and we play in the last 9 games. Okay, we have 9 games and we play in the last 9. And we realize he's really not good. We have a high draft pick this year. Maybe we trade him to somebody and get a second-round pick back. We did still had a first-rounder last year that we had, Montez Sweat. Let's say we realize that this guy's really just not good. He has arm talent, but he can't read defenses. He's just not, I don't want to say he's not smart enough because that sounds kind of, it's borderline on the racial aspect of it. Let's just say he just doesn't do well. Okay? And he's just not comprehending the offense. It's just, the NFL is just very foreign to him. Okay? And we have a high first-round pick this year. And we can draft Trevor Lawrence, or we can draft, I don't want Tua. I think that's a bust waiting to happen. I'd rather have the guy from Oregon than I would rather have him. So there's a lot of options we can have. Or let's say we play him and he does great. He does fantastic. Now we can trade back in the first round and get more picks. If someone's looking to trade up to get Tua and we have a high draft pick, we do have to play him. This is what I'm saying. We have to play him. I get where Callahan's coming from, where he's like, listen, he's not ready. We need 2 weeks to get something he can actually run and actually function, have a functioning offense out there. We throw him out there now, he's gonna be bad, and then we're gonna have to battle to correct what he's bad at. Let's start with things he's good at and limit what he's bad at. I get that. That's smart coaching, and I will give Bill Callahan that credit. If that's his plan, great. If it's not his plan, even more great. Because if it's Kevin O'Connell, he ends up being our coach next year. That's his plan. That's fine. Other decisions that the team made. Kevin O'Connell will call all plays. I like that. The fact that Greg Minuski is still in the building, I don't like. I think that's why here's why they kept him. This is what they should have done, I thought. They should have fired Greg Minuski week 2 or 3. And then when the team did just as bad against the next 2 teams, okay, it's not the defense's fault. It's starting from the coach. It's actually starting from GM, but we can't do that. You need to see if the defense coordinator is a symptom or the disease. I think Jay Gruden is a symptom of a greater disease. But what I think they're going to do is they're going to have Callahan go out. Callahan's going to do his thing. And if the defense sucks, they're going to fire Minuski. And use that as, if we lose to Miami, we're probably going to fire Minuski. Because the only way to lose to Miami is if we give up a lot of points. And if we go out and Minuski sucks at coaching and he doesn't call any pressure, whatever, then we'll fire him. And basically we're going to have a scapegoat for Miami, which is going to be Minuski. I think that's what their plan is. I don't want to go too much into it anymore. I will go on 23 minutes talking about pretty much one fucking comment by this guy. Redskin fans, let's just try to hang in there. It's bleak right now. I get it. I would go over. I've seen a couple videos where they're trashing our franchise, and right now I can't say anything back. Here's what's sad about the Redskins franchise. We are the 5th highest valued franchise in this league. We haven't won championships since 1991. We haven't won championships since 1991, and we still have the 6th most titles in the NFL. We have. We have the 6th most titles in the NFL. Okay, we're tied for 6 with 3 with 2 other teams, and we're 6th most in the NFL. That's how great our franchise at one point was. That we have gone 20 years since then, and we're still 6th. That's what's kind of crazy. We have not had success since we had a year after we won a playoff game. We won, I think, 1 playoff game since 1992, and we're still valued at the 5th highest valued franchise in the NFL. Now that might be based on location, but we're losing. How are we a losing franchise in the 5th highest valued? Okay, I don't like the Steelers at all, but Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, and they're like the 25th ranked franchise or something like that. It's insane. If we were a winning franchise, the franchise is valued at like $3.2 billion right now. And it's I don't want to say it's alarming. It's just alarming that we've had that level of success and our value of the franchise is still very high. Imagine what we'd be if we were winning, if we had a winning records and things like that. This is Redskins Rant. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for following. Thank you for the comments on the last video. I don't think I'll be doing another video. I think we'll beat the Dolphins. I think we're probably gonna start. If we start Colt, man, we might be the only team to have 2 interim coaches in the same year. We might, because if we start Colt and Colt sucks as bad as he did against the Patriots, whew. If our defense plays like against the first half against Patriots, the whole game, we have a chance. But it's all coming down to our defense, because Josh Rosen hasn't played bad for them. I'm not getting too much into that. I may have another video about that, or I may not have a video about it at all, but I'll definitely have a reaction video about it. So, this is JD. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching Redskins Rant. Hail to the Redskins. See ya.